Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
Nope. This
Just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll. What's up, everyone? I'm Jeff. Just kidding. Welcome to DBL. I'm Tori. I'm in for Jeff.
You're like Jeff from the 70s.
Yes, What's up, Tori? All right, and it's Friday. So welcome to Friday, everyone.
Yes.
Let's clap it up for the end of the week. Pat on the back, we've all deserved it. All right, Harrison Ford may play a gruff, aging archaeologist in the Indiana Jones films, but we got to see a bit of his softer side during the premiere of The Dial of Destiny at Cannes. Harrison posed with pics with his wife Callista Flockhart while getting ready for the event in their hotel room. Harrison and Callista walked the red carpet, and later Harrison was joined by the cast, who looked super cool and all wore black, including British actress Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who plays his goddaughter. Now later, Harrison fought back tears when he received a 5-minute, good Lord, standing ovation and looked back at Callista, who was seated behind him. He also got emotional when he was surprised with an honorary Palme d'Or for his lifetime of work. Watch.
My life has been enabled by my lovely wife, who has supported my passion and my dreams, and I'm grateful. And you know, I love you too. Thank you.
What's crazy is the famous line of Han Solo is, "I love you, I know." Isn't that it?
Yes,
that's the
it.
famous line. So it's funny to see Harrison Ford get all squishy and soft. Do men mellow, Al, as they age?
I wouldn't even say as we age. I mean, I think most of the guys that I know, once they had kids, are just, I think because society, maybe it'll be different this generation, but society teaches you to hold it in. And then with kids, I told you I started crying when I was recording my son's It's a Small World like 12 years ago. You know, it's just like, that's when I was just like, oh, I'm a mess all the time now.
Right,
so I don't know. And once I started crying, I was like, I get it now. Why didn't y'all tell us it was so important to cry and get it out? So I do like that he got a chance to get his flowers while he's still here. And I also, Erica, don't want to overlook Callista Flockhart, because she had a hit sitcom.
Ally McBeal.
She was, I mean, she was real famous in the 90s.
Super duper
real famous. And he acknowledged that, to give that up, it's not something to just say, oh, good for her. I mean, imagine working to get to that point. And that's like 90s famous, which is real famous. I really respect what she did, because it's going to go underappreciated.
Well, do we know for a fact that she made the conscious choice to give up
Hollywood? No, but we do know that she hasn't been seen in a while, and he did say, thank you for being my partner and supporting my work. But you're absolutely right. There is we're speculating a bit that she stayed home, but again, we haven't seen her in almost anything.
Right. Well, but it doesn't necessarily mean that she's not doing anything.
That's true.
You know?
That's true. Brothers and Sisters, I'm hearing, is another sitcom she was in.
Yeah, I think, first of all, marriage is a partnership, the biggest partnership, and it's also a business dealing. And so it is important that you support one another in everything that you do, because I think that there's this school of thought in a lot of marriages that I see that don't last very long, is the idea of competition. And if your partner is your competition, then that's like a recipe for disaster. Like, everything grows by one of you growing. So I always think it's beautiful to see relationships, especially in Hollywood, that work that way. And my husband and I always have these conversations about, like, what if this happens? What if that happens? What would that mean for your career? What would it mean for my career? And ultimately, what's best for us is best for us.
It's best for us.
Well, let me ask you a quick question with that, because you said something really interesting. You're talking about you and your partner's careers, but what if you guys had the same career? Would it be as easy to not be competitive? Because it's hard to look at somebody being successful in the field that you've trained yourself for, and you are consciously taking a step back. That's got to be kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah, interesting that you say that, because I have always had a rule that I would never date anyone in the industry that I'm in.
Totally.
I've never had rules like that.
Yeah, I've never. Not even when I was like a 19-year-old intern, and there were plenty of things going on at that point. I've never had a relationship with anybody who was in my field.
I married Brooks, who was my producer, so I get it. But at the same time, I think he and she have very different career paths, those two.
Agreed.
Moving on, Andy Cohen may have cracked the code on why so many people are fascinated with the Vanderpump Rules scandal. Okay, Tom Sandoval cheated on his longtime partner Ariana with her best friend Raquel. Even if you've never watched the show, chances are you've heard of Sandoval in some way. Andy told TMZ why he thinks we care so much. Watch.
I think infidelity is, something that a lot of people are interested and maybe have, a relationship with. And also, I think that the idea that, it happened with his best friend, with Ariana's best friend. Right. I think it makes it all very dramatic and shocking, but it's real. This isn't the first cheating scandal on Vanderpump Rules. It won't be the last, but it is certainly the biggest, and it's resonated the most with the most amount of people.
Why?
First,
is it just the infidelity, like you said? What do you think?
I think it's the infidelity.
Okay.
But I also think that there are elements of this story that people can relate to in some fashion.
Okay. You see yourself.
Right. It's betrayal at like one of the highest levels. It's the relationship between girlfriends and how intimate we are with our girlfriends, giving details that we generally wouldn't give to other people. Like there was a scene in the finale where she's talking about her sex life with her partner, unaware that the girl that she's telling this to also has a sex life with her partner.
It's almost Shakespearean.
Something they could have bonded over.
Right.
Yes, in a very, I won't even go there. But yeah, so, and then who hasn't been in a situation where you either were cheated on or you were the person who cheated or you had proximity to cheating, and how messy and the fallout, especially with friend groups. So it's like, if you get divorced or you break up with someone, how many people have had situations where now you had friends who you can either no longer be friends with or they're not interested in being friends with you based on what happened in your relationship. So there's so many different nuggets. Keep in mind, I hadn't watched Vanderpump Rules since probably season 3. I am now like deep dived into every single element of this equation.
Snorkel.
I have had conversations. I've walked by and I've heard people talking about it on the street and jumped in the conversation. Okay.
I mean, that's what I mean. It's resonated with almost just like an Americana story, and it is sort of Shakespearean in the way of like best friends, girl code, boyfriends. It's all in real time.
But it's what a lot of our movies are based on, because it's what real life is. And Erica, you hit those 2 words, betrayal and proximity. And usually, if somebody is going to step out on you, it's not going to be with just a random person that happened to be. It's going to be somebody in their office that you're like, man, he's really comfortable with so-and-so. And he's, oh, it's fine. So you're going to get the gaslighting in there. Oh, I guess I can't talk to my coworker. Are you losing it, Erica? We're having a meeting at the Hyatt at 12:30 at night. It's like, but after a while, you start to question yourself, all of these things, and then you're like, but that's my girl. We grew up, we graduated together. All that goes away, and what it is just 2 people that you maybe talked a little bit too much about. And now they're like, well, maybe I could be a better partner to your man than you could. And it talks about friendships and how close you guys really are. So I think it does resonate with a lot of people. I don't even know any of these people.
Me neither.
I've seen this scenario play out.
I think there should be a Scandival musical. Like,
ooh,
you know what I'm saying?
That's a good idea.
Like, take this to the stage.
I don't know. BT Dubs, word on the street is that Raquel, Rachel, and Tom have broken up, so they were the 2 that were involved in the affair.
Oh.
So apparently that was the word on the street.
Okay, so they've broken up now. Oh my God.
Yes, but Ariana, who is the one who got cheated on, doesn't believe that to be true, because apparently Raquel sent a letter from the ward that she's at, or something, not ward, I'm sorry, mental health facility that she's at, to Tom, and Ariana intercepted it, but she didn't open it because that's a federal crime.
So this is like The Tempest. I mean, like, it's like Romeo and Juliet, because you remember Juliet's like, Romeo's like, I'm going to do this. I sent a letter. The letter gets lost. Juliet doesn't know. All of this feels Oedipal, almost Grecian and Shakespearean in a way of the basic of good and humanity. Maybe that's where I can come into this.
It's very Bravoian for sure.
It is Bravoian. Bravo.
I think you're going to get into this weekend. I think you're going to text me Sunday night and be like, Al, I didn't sleep last night.
I don't think so.
No, this is your thing?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm excited for other people.
I do think there's a lot of lessons to be learned from people about this. Like, you know, when you start throwing around my best friend and my homie would never do that, people would do anything.
Interesting. Interesting. Layers. Layers, people. Coming up on DBL, our interview with American Idol alum David Archuleta. What was it like being back on stage as a contestant on The Masked Singer? And Lil Wayne leaves fans hanging at his show. Erica is going to explain what Erica's watching.
Not Wheezy.
DBL. This show is amazing.
There's a lot going on down here.
I would have been part of the Mile High Club.
Yeah.
So on point. But I'm going to have a conversation about what's happening now.
All right, let's talk about concerts at our age. In our 40s, what is the maximum time that you're willing to wait for a late headliner?
Ooh, I'm not really willing to wait. Like,
I think you speak for a lot of people. They have lives, they've worked the next day. A lot of concerts are on a school night. Like, when I say school night, I mean like work night for us, school night if you have kids.
I'll wait for a good show, though.
You need to understand
that. Red Hot Chili Peppers was in the rain, and we waited in the rain.
For how long?
Like an hour and a half.
But when was this?
Like a year ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like 6 months ago. Okay, but I was confused as to why I stayed. Oh, was it like 30 minutes?
Yeah, it was raining very hard, so it felt long.
Oh, so this is just a story based on a lie. So
it was only like 30 minutes.
Yeah, if even. It was a normal amount of time in between.
but in the
it
in the
also
rain.
depends on the circumstances.
That's true.
Like,
I was in the
are you in the rain?
I was in the rain,
Or are
rain.
you like in a suite?
No, I was.
Because if I'm in a suite,
no, I was.
I'll
in the
stay
floor.
as long
Right.
as long as the fun
No,
keeps coming
Erica,
in. I'll stay
we're
long.
not doing this on if you're
I
in
was
a
on the
suite
floor.
basis.
I'm just saying,
She's
it
right.
depends on the accommodations,
She's
okay?
right.
If you're comfortable and you're just chilling, hanging out with your friends, there's other things going on, I can wait.
No, I was
But
on the
if
floor.
I'm like
Erica's
uncomfortable,
got the same story where she's like, we sat on the runway for 2 hours. I was in a flatbed on a, but when I woke up, people were really mad.
They were.
no, that never happened. That has never
I
happened.
had a full massage, but I was.
From
I was
what I
okay.
understand, when I took my robe off, I gave him an earful.
Welcome back. Why are Lil Wayne's fans turning on him? Will Wendy Williams be joining the new cast of The Real Housewives of New York? And Garcelle teases what's ahead for the Beverly Hills Housewives in this week's What Erica's Watching. First, Lil Wayne wasn't feeling his fans in LA. He walked off stage and ended his concert after just 30 minutes because he felt they lacked energy? Well, to be fair, he left them waiting for more than 3 hours, according to most fans. And despite featuring rapper 2 Chainz as a special guest, fans weren't too happy with Lil Wayne taking a break to let his new artist perform, making fans wait even longer. Well, Lil Wayne addressed the restless crowd by saying that he and his artists work way too hard. And after that, he dropped his mic and the house lights cut on. No, ain't nobody got time for that, okay? Lil Wayne's lucky that no fans asked for their money back for all those babysitting fees that he cost, okay? Next, Andy Cohen says that Wendy Williams asked to join the cast of The Real Housewives of New York last May. Well, he has a new tell-all book called The Daddy Diaries. And in it, he says that he would have entertained the idea if he wasn't so concerned about Wendy's mental health. Andy says he declined Wendy's pitch because it's clear that she's been struggling after her divorce and after the cancellation of her popular talk show. Now, this is kind of surprising because before all of this, Wendy said that she would never be a housewife, despite Bravo's initial interest in having her join one of the casts. And now that Lisa Rinna has decided to leave the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cast, Garcelle Beauvais is dropping hints about what's in store for the upcoming season. Now, first, she said that she didn't even notice that Lisa was missing from the cast once the upcoming season started shooting.
How is Rinna's absence from the show impacting the current dynamic, would you say?
Is she gone? Now Garcelle seems to be doubling down on the shade and says that although Lisa had an impact on the show, it's going to be a little fresher without her. That's how you read them, girl. That's how you read them. Now share with me anything that catches your eye by using the hashtag DBLEricaWatch. We'll be right back.
Friday is National Bike to Work Day. We're in the middle of National Bike Week, and May is National Bike Month. Swapping to a bike for your daily commute could be good for your health and helps reduce air pollution. But most people in the United States don't make the change. Why? Well, for one thing, they don't want to get run over. According to government data, cyclist fatalities were up 54% in urban areas in 2020 compared to a decade before, and 966 cyclists were killed in traffic crashes in 2021. That has some calling for more bike lanes in city centers, while others are against the idea. We wanted to verify, is there evidence that bike lanes actually make cycling safer? We looked at 3 peer-reviewed studies and spoke to Alex Engel and Peter Firth. According to both Engel and Firth, it's a pretty straightforward answer.
There are a lot of benefits to bike lanes. There's a lot of benefits to building safe bike infrastructure in general.
Bike infrastructure can look different depending on where you are, either painted bike lanes or separate protected bike paths. Our sources say the data isn't clear about painted lanes, but is clear when it comes to separate paths. A 2011 study found that roads with parallel but separate bike paths saw 2.5 times as many cyclists, but 28% fewer bike injuries than on roads without them. 2 years later, another study found that separate bike paths carry just 4% of the risk compared to riding in mixed traffic.
The risk of a crash falls depending on the study by. Some found 27%, 28%, some found 50%. Big reduction in crash risk when you're riding in a protected bike lane.
So we can verify that yes, according to experts, separated bike lanes can make cycling safer. With your Verify, I'm Nathan Baca.
There it is, American Idol finalist and platinum recording artist, David Archuleta.
Welcome back. That was David Archuleta being unmasked during the finale of The Masked Singer. Earlier, we chatted with him along with our guest panelist, Dr. Della Toro, all about performing as his true self as the macaw. Check it out. Please welcome to the show, David Archuleta.
I know, wow, so good to have you here, you little cutie. All right, here we go. So during the finale, David, we got to get right into this. You revealed you had a major injury last year that left you silent for 3 months, and you didn't know if you're going to be able to ever sing again. I can't even imagine what that felt like. What happened, and how does it feel to perform again?
Oh man, it was interesting. I didn't know what it was going to be like coming out of the surgery and not speaking for 3 months, doing voice therapy to get my vocal cords back into shape. So the rest of the year 2022, I was recovering, and then going into singing competition, I'm like, okay, this will be interesting. But it was a lot of fun. It was very lighthearted, great energy, and it was even silly, right? You're into this big bird costume, or I was at least, flying around the stage. And so it made it a lot less pressure than any other competition I'd ever been in. So I had so much fun. And they had great voice coaches on the show as well.
That's very helpful, actually. All right, some of the clues you gave as the macaw and the Masked Singer were related to you coming out as part of the LGBTQ plus community. Mazel tov, first off. How does it feel to be back performing on TV without feeling like you have to hide a part of yourself? May I even say unmasked, to be no pun intended?
You did.
I did say
Right.
I
It was a perfect
It was a pun and it was intended. Sorry.
Like how you did that.
I feel like the macaw allowed me to kind of transition into that because I was so afraid. I had such a specific image before I had come out. I was very reserved. I grew up very religious, very reserved, and basically ashamed of myself. I never wanted that to be revealed to anybody, including myself. So it was really hard for me to come to terms with it and then to like show it to everybody and then perform live again on TV. The macaw really helped me to be comfortable doing that. I mean, because the macaw is big and loud and red, so I'm glad I got to be the macaw.
That's awesome.
Hey, man,
That's
I
awesome.
love it, and there's nothing for you to be ashamed of. What an incredible career. But I have to ask you, were there any clues where you like, come on, guys, they're gonna know it's me?
I'm not sure. I think maybe mentioning that I had been on a competition before, giving clues that I was a singer. So I was like, okay, he was in a singing competition. I'm not really sure anything else. Maybe my diehard fans would know like the quesadilla story that my parents coaxed me into singing for the first time through food. I'm a big foodie.
Yes.
And you can still probably get me to sing if you give me some good food. But
Do we have food in the studio?
Yeah. So do you? That was actually a way to keep me on the news station, is keeping me for the cooking segment. I don't cook, but I would love to try the food. But I don't know. I don't have a lot to offer in relationships either because I can't cook for my significant other.
But you can sing while they're
I'll serenade you as you're mixing, you're cooking those mushrooms.
That's right.
Grilling them.
That's all you need.
So David, talk to us, man. How much rehearsal time did it take for you to learn how to maneuver and perform with excellence in that costume?
It didn't take too long. They didn't give me a lot of choreography compared to other performers. I was like, I wouldn't mind if you gave me a little more to challenge me, but I really couldn't see very well with that big macaw mask.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really maneuver very well because I had to move my whole torso to be able to look left or right because the head was so big. I couldn't really look up and down in it. But otherwise, I tried to like move my feet. I tried to like with that
River dancer.
One Direction one. I was like doing some twists and like jumping and all that. That was probably my favorite number to do, by the way, on the show. It was so much fun. I couldn't even hear myself because the audience was singing so loud in a lot. That song. They were really getting into it.
That's the best.
You crushed it, man.
Congratulations. We loved chatting with you. DBL Nation, David's new single.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, it's our honor, and his new single Up will
great
be.
energy.
Thank you. Thank you. To our viewers, make sure that you get his new single Up. It'll be released on June 2nd. Thanks again. We'll be right back.
Hey, come back soon.
Congrats, buddy.
Absolutely.
Thanks. I would love to come back.
Yes, yes.
We are potentially just a few weeks away from the United States defaulting on its debt. The Treasury Department is running out of money to pay the bills Congress already authorized, and it needs to borrow more. But it can't do that unless Congress raises the debt ceiling. Republicans who control the House say they won't vote to do that unless the bill also comes with severe spending cuts, a proposal President Biden has rejected. Verify viewer Andy heard that when Trump was president, Republicans lifted the debt ceiling multiple times without any strings attached. So let's verify. Did congressional Republicans vote to lift the debt ceiling without spending cuts during the Trump administration? Our sources are the Treasury Department, the Congressional Research Service, the Bipartisan Policy Center, the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, and the American Presidency Project at UC Santa Barbara. The debt ceiling was lifted 3 times when Trump was president, once in 2017, 18, and 19. But each time, Congress didn't vote to raise the limit by a specific amount the way they usually do. Instead, they voted to suspend the debt ceiling altogether.
This allowed the Treasury to borrow money at will. Then, when the suspension was over, a new ceiling was automatically installed based on how much the Treasury borrowed in the interim. As a result, the debt ceiling rose by several $1 trillion during Trump's term. So, did any of those suspensions come with spending cuts like the ones Republicans are calling for now? They didn't. Some of these budgets included spending offsets, but our sources said they were mostly budget gimmicks rather than serious cuts, and they had little impact on actual spending. So we can verify, yes, during the Trump administration, congressional Republicans voted multiple times to lift the debt ceiling without spending cuts. Since 1960, the debt ceiling has been raised 78 times, 49 times under a Republican president and 29 times under a Democrat. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
In March, a type of Gerber baby formula was recalled because it potentially contained a type of bacteria that can cause serious illness in babies. Now, 2 months later, some social media posts saying the recalled formula ended up on store shelves anyway. So, let's verify. Was potentially contaminated Gerber baby formula sent to stores after a recall was issued? Our sources are the Food and Drug Administration, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Associated Wholesale Grocers, and Gerber's parent company, Perrigo. When the recall was first announced, stores and distributors were supposed to pull the affected Gerber Good Start Soothe Pro powder infant formula from the shelves, and customers were instructed to throw out any they had at home. However, on May 13th, Associated Wholesale Grocers announced it mistakenly distributed the recalled product to stores in 8 states. This prompted another recall notice to alert customers. So, yes, potentially contaminated Gerber baby formula was sent to stores after a recall was issued. The recalled formulas have these lot numbers and expire between July 4th and July 12th. Gerber says anyone who has the recalled product can contact them for a refund. So far, no babies have gotten sick from the formula. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Paradise for your chance to win the perfect family getaway. Watch DBL every day for a word of the day. Then enter at dailyblastlive.com/beaches for your chance to win a 4-day, 3-night beaches resort stay for a family of 4 to a beaches resorts destination in Jamaica or Turks and Caicos. Today's beaches resorts word of the day is getaway. The winner will be announced on DBL May 24th.
Welcome back. If you are hiring a landscape company to make your yard the best on the block, make sure the work you agreed upon gets done. Here's how to safely enjoy life outside with Sunsetter. So to avoid getting scammed by a landscaping company, make sure to carefully read that contract. Companies may try to add additional tasks, hoping you just overlook them so that they can get more money out of you. Also, as the work is getting done, make sure the company is only completing tasks that are listed on the contract. With affordable custom features without the custom price, Sunsetter is America's #1 best-selling awning. Spend more time outside. Get the best value with Sunsetter. It's been an industry leader for 30 years. So call 1-800-513-6851 or visit sunsetter.com for guaranteed pricing on American-made awnings built to last.
All I do with the Sunsetter commercials, I'm like, what kind of infusion would I have in my ice water? Like under there,
nice.
like what we do, mint from the garden, a little lemon,
Definitely
lime.
cucumber.
Okay, little cucumber.
I'm a citrus fan, so I would do the lemon.
Yes, no lavender because Erica's coming.
No, of course.
All right.
You have to be careful with Erica.
There we go.
DBL's new every day. We'll be back Monday.